Peace and blessings. Welcome back. So today I want to finish going through the Muse Tarot. The other day I went through the majors, and I will link that in the comments so that you can find it. So today I'm hoping that I get through all of the minor arcana of the Muse Tarot. This is the tarot deck that I'm working with for the month, and I decided to kind of do a more in-depth study of the deck because I have not worked with it in so long. So I shared that when I first saw the deck, I didn't really connect with the art. So it took me a while to really warm up to the deck, but anytime I read with it, the messages are always so potent. I also will be doing a study of the Sacred Creators Oracle. This is one of my favorite decks. And yeah, it's a beautiful one that I work with when I'm doing like business readings, helping myself and creatives just process and know what they need to do on their journey, on their path. These cards are really beautiful to work with. So stay tuned for that as well. So we are going through the suit of emotions, which would be cups in this deck. And there is the ace. I love that, first of all, sacred geometry is found all throughout this deck. I love that it feels very much like the depths with the starfish and the fish and the water, and it's coming up like, it's almost like the energy of the Fool, but in the characteristics of cups or emotions, which is, you know, our feelings, our intuition. Depending on how I'm reading, sometimes cups to me also represents like that spiritual connection as well, even though sometimes that's more so wands energy. But I kind of look at the wands as like inspiration and action, whereas cups is like receiving the inspiration. So like getting the channeled messages, the downloads, connecting with spirit, so on and so forth. So I really like this because you can't really tell, like it looks like there's some smoke. It's almost like being one with all of like the depths of the sea, and like being able to come up from air. So it's almost like coming from like the bottom of the ocean, almost like I'm seeing like a lotus in my head, like just journeying upwards and coming into like your physical form. For some reason that is coming up when I look at this card. Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's like she's forming out of the ocean almost. So I want to see. Oh, I should have started with inspiration, but that's okay. So it does talk about being fluid, creativity of the heart, intelligence guided by emotions. She does this through healing, blending, introducing, and taking the plunge toward love each and every time. She invites you to the depths of her tide, to swim in her healing waters and emerge at the surface of your truth. So I like that. That's really beautiful. There's not a lot in the guidebook about the art, which is why sometimes I try to reference it just to see, but I think it's really beautiful. So here we have the Two of Emotions, and as we can see, they are in the water. This reminds me of synchronized swimmers in a sense. Of course, this is like connection. You can see the different, these two fish here, and then there's like a little, somewhat like a school of fish. So there's pairs all over this card, and just beautiful. And seeing like how the water itself is, what do they call those? It's a phenomenon that happens when water, it's not a riptide. I guess we'll just call it a current for now, but there's different things that can happen like in the water where like a water spout, I think that's the term I'm looking for. It's almost like a water spout. So you can see how it's kind of converging, and almost reminds me of like the helix of DNA as well. So like when I think about creativity, or even like one becoming two, so you go from the individualism of the ace and then you come into partnership with two. It's almost like that creative energy is starting to flow. It's starting to move. It's multiplying, and you're starting to see how you can connect the pieces with the two of emotions. And here we have the three. We've got Maiden, Mother, Crone energy here. Very beautiful. I love that the element of water is so present in these, because I'm seeing like, again, like harmony, balance, being able to be submerged in the water, yet it's not fully taking you over. You can go down there when you need to. Everything is connected. As far as like, you can see the moon is, again, because the moon controls the tide, it impacts the waters. So you have that flowing in as well. It's just like a loop of creativity. And if you can see like these little dots, like all of it is connected. So it's even like when we think about the cycles of the moon, like, okay, this moon is the full moon, this moon is the new moon, but they're all connected. It's like the journey of a woman when she is pregnant. There's the little seed, and then it grows and it grows and it grows, and then eventually she gives birth. Like, it's all one journey, and that's what this really reminds me of. And I like that too. Their eyes are all doing something different. So hers are closed, hers are directly focused ahead, which is the present. And then this is, I would say, kind of like past energy. So it's being able to, this reminds me too of a lot of the like high priestess energy, being able to connect in with your emotions, being able to regulate your emotions, as well as draw inspiration from different times, different timelines, different situations, bringing in that wisdom. Beautiful. And then we have the Four of Emotions. I love how like there's this big chalice right here. And not even knowing that the gift of life, right? The present moment is the magic. It is the offering that you can always return to. I think that is really, really beautiful. I'm interested about like the two faces. I like that she's also sitting on the water and kind of looking down into the water. So I feel like that's almost like exploring her options, knowing that there's something going on, but not allowing it to overtake her in a sense. And she's kind of watching like what's happening beneath the surface. Like, okay, what is this? What am I feeling? Why is this here? How can I use this? But it's also almost like, because she's sitting still, she doesn't see that this humongous goblet, like the cup of life. I wonder what these two faces are. I would say maybe past and future. It's almost like the energy of being between a rock and a hard place. And I call that the space of potential. I feel like I did a podcast episode about that. But in that place, if we can pause and like harness our energy, which is this right here, then you can create shifts or, change your circumstances and things like that. I really love this card. I don't know if I really I haven't read with this deck in quite some time. I mean, it wasn't like a daily driver deck for me either. So I think this is just beautiful. I'm falling in love with this deck the more I work with it. I want to see if there's any notes on this card. Sitting in a giant energetic cup, her fourth cup, her best cup. But when she counts her blessings, she only sees the 3. Other people have 4 goblets that she can clearly see. And here she is stuck in a life of 3. Hoping she finds a 4th, she closes her eyes and asks the muse to help her find her magical blessings. No answer, nothing but the waves lapping up against. What are they lapping up against? Oh, so these are like the waves, okay? And she can hear them. So it's like she knows something is happening, but she can't see. Oh, wow. This is almost like, I feel like almost self-sabotage, but also this kind of relates to what I was feeling this past week where I just felt so stuck and I couldn't see the gift that I was given in the changes that had happened in my life because I was in it. It's like not being able to see the forest through the trees until like you need a different perspective. So that's really beautiful. So this below her would be the energy of the muse. And the message for her is that you are the fourth cup. That is so beautiful. So I want to read the poetry that Chrisanne wrote for this. Well, let me finish this. In this way, the muse reminds you that you too are the blessing you're seeking. You are living within your own treasure chest, and you just need to change your perspective to see it. So that's kind of along the lines of what I said. So the poem here, and then the moment of slowing down, it's time to muse the muses and see the bubbling joy that lives with one who seeks and chooses. So yes, it's definitely giving glass half full, glass half empty. How are you going to look at things? So beautiful. And I love the clouds at the top. So it's almost like sometimes if we can sit in stillness and like meditate and go within, we can become aware of that beautiful gift that we are, that we have. So I really like this. Five of emotions. Look at the icicles. And that moon there on her chest. But there's still water. Like you can still see water flowing. It looks almost like a waterfall, like releasing that energy and then being able to melt the icicle, I was going to say iceberg, and have it turn back into water. So that's very interesting to see water in form, whereas like it was flowing and now it's stopped and it's frozen, but you can turn it back into flowing water again and like help move that energy. So I think that's a very beautiful way to depict the five of emotions, because it's almost like being paralyzed with hurt, with grief, with loss, with fear, with whatever. But we also have the ability to move forward, to let it go, to release it. I'm really starting to love this deck, this artwork. So the prompt here for this is stolen life force. And apathy and magic was for the four of emotions. When all the world feels like ice, the five of emotions knows that we have drifted away from our emotions once more. We grow cold, hard, distant, and she knows there's work to be done in order for us to find our hearts again. It's so easy to feel numb and sterile. She knows underneath it all, we miss the tender aching for joy of our own hearts. She feels it, all the hurt, all the sadness, all the grief, and all the love, laughter, and hopefulness. So she holds onto the ice for us, warming it with her empathy of sunshine, and she melts it into drops of tears. Like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. So beautiful. Wow. Oh my goodness. This reminds me of, like, of course, shadow work, but just like the energy of a healer, someone who is able to hold space for other people's trauma, their hurt, their tragedy, and help them soften back into the energy of love. I really love this card. All right, so now we have the Six of Emotions, Six of Cups. This feels like walking down memory lane. Like there is a portal right through her whole being. So that would cover almost every chakra, minus the third eye and crown. So like the throat, self-expression, heart, solar plexus, sacral, root. And it's like especially like our lower three, those are the ones that are formed in our youth and our childhood, right? So we have our inner child here, and it's almost like going within and pulling out those memories, seeing what is there, that magic and that wonder of our youth, of our childhood. It's coming to like she's sitting on the bottom floor of the ocean. And I don't know, I feel like this to me again is more like shadow work, or even just going within and exploring like the little caverns of our heart and of our mind. And her face, it looks like, yeah, she's staring off into the past, almost like nostalgic or even longing in a sense, right? And her inner child there playing. So it's kind of like, you know, lost in memory, lost in thought. And then there's this other figure there. Is that who she's to become, who she once was? Let's see what the book says. Or is that oh, so it does talk about, remember her, the little girl testing out mommy's shoes, or him, the little boy jumping into the puddle. Can you feel them? Sometimes they need to be cuddled and reminded the world is a big, beautiful puzzle. The muse holds the mirror of time in front of you and asks you to remember your present with clarity and love. She reminds you that lifelong friends and family and old flames and joys can be called upon to access and experienced, if only in memories. Inside this mirror, your filters of perception change your reality. And every time you access your memory, you color them a little bit. And this way, you've been changing your past since the day you were born. So why not choose to remember in a way that heals your heart? So it did align with shadow work. And so that then would be the querent. And what memories are you calling up? Are you calling up happy images, or are you like recalling the darker times? One of the things that I enjoy doing is helping clients like rewrite your story. So if there was a particular, and I shared this on my podcast, I think it was about like overcoming money trauma, where I remember the first thing that I remembered about money was a not good experience. But when I sat and really thought about different things that I did as a kid, like when I had my first dog walking business and being able to like start fundraisers and things like that, I'm like, how did I forget about this? Because one memory overcolored or overshadowed the other memories. So that was a profound shift in just realizing like, okay, that story, yeah, it was true, but it's not the only story. There are other memories, and I can choose to say, okay, yes, I had this bad experience. However, I don't have to hold on to it. I can look at it, I can learn from it, but I can also go back and recall those good memories, those memories that were, you know, pure joy. So that's really beautiful for me. So there we have 7 of emotions. And there's the little goldfishes there. And they're kind of decorated differently. One has a reef, one has the jewels. One is like a set of twins, maybe. One has a shark fin. One has like their crown illuminated, and the other one is blindfolded. So it's like choice. What do you choose? What's calling to you? I don't know what that one has. I don't know. It's like different gills or something. But yeah. So being presented with different options. Oh my goodness. This is just gorgeous. I love how simplistic some of the images are. Like, they're not very complex, right? Like, this isn't a super complex image, but it is. And it's just like the way the fish, the colors just pop off, and like this muted tone figure. Like the way the artwork in this deck is just absolutely beautiful. So we've got the sand here again. There's always movement, and I like that these cards always display movement because nothing really is static, especially when we're working in the realm of creativity and inspiration. So this looks like an eclipse, correct? Correct. Which is very interesting because eclipses usually signal endings. So I think that's beautiful for the 8 of emotions. And we're about to run or have an eclipse tomorrow's. 8 of emotions. An eclipse has unfurled its thickest protection, and it has blocked the blinding lights of illusion. It has lifted her strange sensation of being dulled and numb and stopped her false happy. It's like a switch flipped. She has dropped it all the baggage, all the lifetime, all the tethers, all the broken dreams. How often has she stayed when she didn't want to? Oof. She realizes just now as she walks away just how much far off course she has twisted and how much she has changed. With the lifting of this spell, she can see everything in its lunacy. That is a very just a beautiful, beautiful card. Because sometimes what we see, what's illuminated, just because it's not always what's real or what's right. And I think that, well, that's a whole nother discussion, but I like how it said it's like blocking out the distractions and the false illumination, and then you can actually see what's going on, like blocking out the fake sun in a sense. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, this is gorgeous. 9 of emotions. So you can see the jewels hanging there. There's the lamp. It's like your wish is my command. You're just sitting there manifesting, just in an absolute state of peace and bliss. This also reminds me to like be mindful of what we are thinking and feeling, because that can and does inform what it is that we create and manifest. So really staying in a higher vibrational frequency. The 9 of emotions. And then we have the 10 of emotions. This feels like a performance on a stage with like the curtains there. But it also feels like everybody is working together. So this to me feels a lot like, of course, family, community, unity, you know, everyone coming together for the common good. So 10 of emotions. All right, now we're getting into the court cards. And I think I might do these individually just because it'll be super long if I keep going through all of them. So we have the Page of Emotions, and I like the octopus there. Beautiful. The heart is open. It is lit up. There's a lot of just beautiful things. And look at that portal there. And then there is the Knight of Emotions. There's the Queen. I love this so much. I don't know if I noticed that before, where it's like walking along the beach or in the water and just very healing and nurturing and just connecting in with the cleansing and healing energy of the waters. It's really beautiful. And then we have the Muse of Emotion. So this deck does not have kings. It has muses of emotion. So I would like to see what that says. It says, come tiny vessel of love to the place where the water drops off and pours everything into the sweet shell of life. This message of highest love resides where all the bits and pieces of your anger and sadness are brewed and alchemized into beautiful experiences for the soul. It says, come basically with everything that you are, leave nothing behind, for you will need it all in this place of mindful understanding. Rinsing the shadow is the prompt here. And I like that because it takes all of the experiences of the cups, of the emotions, and they're all valid, and you use all of them. You can integrate all of them to help you become a better person, right? You learn things from every experience that you go through, no matter whether they are positive or negative. So I think that's really a beautiful way. It's kind of like the culmination of everything that the cups embody, and then you can see the little figure there going to the muses. So that is it for the suit of emotions from the Muses Tarot. I will be back to go through the other suits and share my thoughts and reflections, and I look forward to getting through all of them and really starting to dive deeper into the deck. I think it's a really beautiful deck, and I think, yeah, it's just one that is not given enough love or credit for the creativity and what it stands for. Peace.